They know exactly what they're doing.
So they know that your main receiver, which is a crystal that's inside your pineal gland, that's your main connection to spirituality, and that's what keeps you calm, and that's what keeps you spiritual and loving everybody and praising everybody and a good person and not lying and stealing and cheating and everything like that. And the Russians and the Germans figured that out a long time ago in the concentration camps, so they gave you...
And that's in Shearer's Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. It's in Pulitzer Prize-winning books. They put fluoride in. Dr. Group's main office is based down in Houston, and they had water up 15 feet into the building. His house was flooded. We haven't even gotten into that. You had a big earthquake that's killed close to 300 people we know of in Japan yesterday at 7.1, Mexico. So now we've had another one hit Japan. So we've had one hit Mexico a week and a half ago that was an 8.1, another hit 7.1 in Mexico City, another one now just hit minutes ago. Japan earthquake, large 6.1 quake, strikes off coast near Fukushima. Earthquake rocks Japan and sparks tsunami fears. That's out of the Daily Express and also out of Japanese newspapers. And, of course, we have record solar flares right now ejecting from the sun. We call them sunspots. They look like spots when you're looking at them straight on, but they are mass coronal ejections that obviously come in with this ionization and manipulate the atmosphere, manipulate the Earth's crust, go into the Earth, bounce off the core of the Earth, come back out. Dr. Group, what do you think's going on right now with all these unprecedented Earth changes? Do you agree with me and a lot of the astrophysicists we've had on that it is the sun?
Definitely the sun is putting out solar flares. I mean, you also...
In fact, show that again. Let's, because it shows the sun when it's cool, like it's been for 11 years, and now it's at its maximum when it's really blowing up. You know, it's having huge thermonuclear explosions every 5 minutes. Look at the difference. What is that going to affect our weather?
It's the climate change agenda, Alex. I mean, look at the geoengineering. It's still, I did not believe it at first that geoengineering existed. It has been going on for a long time. You can pull up the patents online. Weather modification systems. Why do you think it is tied into not only the HARP system, but also all of the cell phone towers? I mean, the cell phone towers can emit different megahertz frequencies, and you can steer storms. There's been PhD scientists that have came out recently discussing Harvey, how it just stopped and went backwards. I mean, we're seeing global changes, earthquakes, volcanoes, solar flares, massive amounts of chemtrail spraying, chemical spraying in the air, tons with C-130s, Air Force.
More and more they're admitting it. So what's going on?
What is going on? I mean, are they trying to convince everybody and manipulate the weather? Are they doing these big training exercises? I mean, I did notice, and I've talked to people with Harvey, it almost seemed like a big training exercise. I know it's sick to say, listen, I was affected by Harvey. I lost my house. I have a whole new appreciation for life. It actually was a good thing for me. I became a better father.
You told me today, you said, sorry, I'm a little bit ragged.
Yeah, look.
You said you've been living out of your closet for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I've been living out of my closet. I
mean, out of your suitcase.
I appreciate everything so much more. I mean, and I didn't have it nearly as bad as everybody else in Houston had.
Well, I saw the photos of your house. You had, like, water in your house.
But it's really been a life-changing experience for me, because just a humbling experience. You can see these disasters on TV all the time, but until you go through it yourself, you don't realize how many ways it affects you, like not even having water to drink, or like wading through the water with trash bags. I was literally wading through the water with trash bags on my back. And you know, it's like you're in this devastation zone. Of course, I'm not going to the psychiatrist and claiming I have post-traumatic stress.
We're going to get more into that in a moment, but getting back to this, Japan hit with a 6.1 tsunami warning right off the coast of Fukushima. I've looked at the Japanese tsunami maps and the earthquake maps. Why do they seem to build reactors all over the world on fault lines? Because if you look at global maps of the 446 power-producing reactors we know of, there's several hundred experimental, then a bunch of nuclear submarines as well. So let's say there's probably 800 nuclear reactors in the world. But most of the big ones, they build on fault lines like it's some type of joke.
I don't know why they do that. That's just the worst engineering in the world, because, first of all, just having nuclear energy is, I mean, I know it's beneficial in certain areas, but why haven't we implemented?
They can't ever do it right. They're constantly blowing up. You know the average age of our reactors is 37 years. They're supposed to be retired at 30. They don't even care anymore. They just run them until they blow up now.
Right. It's a good thing we have a big stock of X2 survival shield.
Yeah, I didn't plug any products last hour. We need to fund the operation. But explain the bad halogens go into the thyroid and other glands. When you don't have the good halogen, the thiodine, the government used to put it, a bad version of it, but a cheaper version, in the salt, and it boosted IQs massively. Oh, and by the way, before we get to that, what do you make of CNN? Let me show this to TV viewers. Coming out yesterday, fluoride exposure in utero, that means in the uterus, linked to lower IQs in kids. Study says. We've always known that. One of the most early studied things is fluoride. They know what it does. The hydrofluorosilicate type, even a 0.5 increases massive reduction in IQ. Well, they're putting way more than that in the water we're drinking. It's crazy. Even the toothpaste says don't swallow it. Fluoride's poisonous. But they just keep it in our water. Group, why is CNN and others finally starting to admit, okay, serotonin reuptake inhibitors cause you to die 33% earlier. Okay, fluoride's brain damage in kids. Why are they like hedging their bet because they know we're going to win? They're just selling as much of it as they can and trying to push it on kids because they can't fight back while admitting, yeah, we know it's deadly. See, you were warned. What's going on here?
I think it's a great thing. I mean, if you start having CNN and the mainstream media coming out and exposing the things that we've been exposing for the last 20 years, that's obviously means that they're losing their ratings. People are starting to find out the truth, and they're being forced to start covering true subjects. I mean,
well, look right here. It says it is a neurotoxin. That's the same thing a cobra has when it bites you.
Yeah, so is bromine, and hopefully they'll come out and start talking about bromine and chlorine, the other toxic halogens that we're...
So explain to people why X2 is so special. They tested it. They had BuzzFeed test it in a big Democrat lab in California where if there's anything in California standards, you know, they sue you because they have laws out there. Well, they got pissed. They tested it all. It was all California standard, which sometimes we have to test stuff repeatedly because we send batches back because it isn't that standard. It costs us a lot of money. A lot of the cost of the product is it's so neurotically clean because we know what the California scam is. So we want to defeat them. And, I mean, how big was it when BuzzFeed tried that scam and got defeated?
It was great because it just goes to show you that they're getting defeated over and over and over and over again. And it all goes back to the people waking up and the people demanding the truth. And people are getting smarter. I mean, I know that we talk about all of these things that dumb people down. That's why.
Those are the victims. But for those of us that are aware, let's just face it, we're being boosted. It's crazy.
It's working both ways. I mean, you have a certain group of people. It's really this war on what's going to happen. And I think that we are moving forward in a positive direction every single day. I mean, I know that I get calls, you get calls.
Yeah, exactly. We're not saying all this to be negative. We're saying it so we believe when you get the facts, you're going to take the right action, and we've proven that.
No, it's awesome. I mean, it's awesome. And that's why Google's trying to censor this information. That's why, you know, all of the mainstream media is trying to censor it.
But we're winning.
It's backfiring. It's backfiring in their face.
Because even the people at CNN care about their kids. I mean, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the information is going to get out there one way or another. And you try to censor and take things away from people, it just makes them more angry.
And let's explain. Calcium fluoride, you need a little bit of, it's good for you. This is hydrofluorosilicate acid. So when they say fluoride, that's not even true. Describe the molecule, how they weaponize it, how it's an adjuvant to everything else they do to us. They admit that in government documents. They do this on purpose. Explain what hydrofluorosilicate acid is and why it's not just if there's a radiation event to stop the radioactive iodine, you got to have good iodine in there or you absorb the bad iodine. Across the board, if you have the good iodine, this other garbage isn't going to get in there. Explain it to people.
Well, because iodine is a halogen, so is fluoride, chlorine, and bromine. The hydrofluorosilicate acid is a byproduct of the aluminum industry. And so this is a toxic compound which has an MSDS of a 4, which means
the most deadly.
Handle it in a full suit with a respirator.
Isn't 4 the most deadly?
Yes, it is. So what happens?
So it has the most deadly designation. I mean, only stuff like cyanide has that.
Yes, it does. The thing is, the aluminum industry and the fertilizer industries, they would have to dispose of this, and the government is not going to allow you to dispose.
So it's a big joke. Dispose of it in our brains.
So they put it in your brains, you know, tracing fluoride.
Fries sperm, fries DNA.
Fries the thyroid gland, all of the reproductive organs. The thyroid causes all different types of the pineal gland, which is your, you know, spiritual connection. It calcifies the pineal gland. And the only way that I've found to really get fluoride out of the body is you have to have something that's going to go into those cells, bond to it.
And by the way, mainline scientists now agree the pineal is an electrochemical receiver. So they're trying to jam the antenna, the third eye.
Yes.
The ancients all knew it was there. They're trying to jam it. That's not New Age stuff. They are trying to jam your antenna to God.
Well, you can go on Google and you have pictures of individuals that have dissected the pineal gland. And
that's mainline science. It's totally calcified in Western countries.
Yes, and there's actually small crystals in the pineal gland, and they've taken like Buddhists and they've looked, and so there's actually a crystal receiver inside your pineal gland. Not the crystals from the fluoride. What happens with the fluoride is
they block it.
Crystallizes around your own crystal that you have inside your pineal gland. That's a proven fact. You can look it up in medical documentation.
I know, it's incredible. They know exactly what they're doing.
So they know that your main receiver, which is a crystal that's inside your pineal gland, that's your main connection to spirituality, and that's what keeps you calm, and that's what keeps you spiritual and loving everybody and praising everybody and a good person and not lying and stealing and cheating and everything like that. And the Russians and the Germans figured that out a long time ago in the concentration camps, so they gave you fluoride. And
that's in Shearer's Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. It's in Pulitzer Prize-winning books. They put fluoride in.
Everything is out in the open if you just take your time and do your research. They know that it's going to cause crystallization and calcification in your pineal gland, and they know it's going to dumb you down. They know it's going to reduce your IQ. That's why they want all these kids drinking the water with the fluoride in it. That's why they want the kids taking the psychotropic medications, which have fluoride compounds in them. They know that just dumbing the population down, you're easily controllable, and they can also make...
They're cutting us off from higher consciousness.
Cutting you off from higher consciousness.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Keeping you sick. What the aging process is when the cell replicates, we lose a little bit of our telomeres. Telomeres are the little cups on the end of our chromosomes.
And when it runs out, you start dying. Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com.